Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching this video. Today we want to get a look at what is an ORM and how it's work. And we want to use a GORM ORM for connecting to the PostgreSQL and creating our tables instead of saving our data in a memory and JSON. The first thing I want you to know that is that what is ORM? ORM stands for Object Relational Mapper, and as you can see in here, it converts our classes. Of course, it's a Python code, but anyway, it's convert our object into the table. For example, if we define a class user, it will automatically write a query like create table users, and if we add a property to that, it will automatically add this property and edit and alter our table. So it can improve our performance and speed of development. And another benefit is relationship become easy. So instead of writing a join like that, when we say we need a user that orders in an ORM, it will fill automatically our orders instead of writing a join like that. So it's a very easier for us and quick conclusion for picking one ORM, safer code, productively crude, performance tuning, complex queries. These are most important performance you need as a developer. And most popular ORM for Golang is that those are we just need top three. The first one is GORM because it's very easily and widely used ORM in a Go. But personally, if I want to develop one real project for bank or anything, I maybe consider ENT Facebook Meta. So of course we later on have one course on that because it's for Meta, and I think it's worth to try it. And finally, if we want a simplicity and development, we use a GORM. For strong typing, we use a ENT, and SQL Boiler as a third option if you want to max performance. For connecting to my PostgreSQL face, I need to create a new database. And at the beginning, I need to install some packages like GORM.io for getting GORM. And after that, I need to get a PostgreSQL driver. After installing GORM.io, you have to write go get -u GORM.io GORM, and after that I need to install from driver PostgreSQL. Also I can search on it in GitHub for that driver Postgres. In here is a driver for PostgreSQL, and for GORM is this page. You can get that from here. As you can see in here, it's used Postgres GORM. It's a good reference for that, so we need to use them and make sure we have installed these packages. After we install them, as you can see in here, it's right that we have to copy our connection string. I already write one connection string. For get a faster speed, I just paste that, just let me check. I don't think time will be required, but for making sure, I just add time zoom in here. So we had our local host, because I'm on local host, the name and the password of my PostgreSQL. My database name, I need to change that to the database I created. So can I copy that? Or let's writer club. The port of my SQL, and I don't need a SSL mode because I'm working on local. If we have an error, we say that we can't connect, and here write connecting to the Postgres SQL or SQL. In this line, I connected to my Postgres, and I can now check my query. So I write just simple query, a test query for testing my connection string. Just let's check another thing in here. After we connect to our SQL, it's have another configuration, and just that we can select one. It's just select a single number. If we go on query tool and select a one, as you can see, it's print just a one. But for making sure our query is work truly, we just select a one, I return after that because I don't want to my code is get wrong. So after running my project, as you can see, everything is okay. But if we connect, for example, to another database or something be wrong, like I don't Fighter Club 2, because I don't have this database on my PostgreSQL, we get an error that file to connect database, file to connect user, it's right my connection string, server error, Fighter Club 2 does not exist. That's a truly valid error. And if I change my password, as you can see again, we have another error, like file to connect by the password authentication file for user admin. And if we connect to another port, again we get some other error, like the TCP error. We got an TCP error, no connection could be made because the target machine refused it. So if you get those error, please check your connection string. Otherwise, you successfully connect to your database. Now it's time for creating our table. let's check the result. If result is not equal to 1, just need say 1. Or say cannot select from 1, or just that. Otherwise, we can migrate to our table. First, I need to include my entities in here. So entities, and inside entities, I'm sure that I make one user table, and it's a user classes. We just need to say db.automigrate to my user. Just make sure to pass this ampersand to your table. So after migrating my table, I need to add an extra property to my user. I write some of them before, like name, no, gender and division. For gender, we need it to be a boolean. And for the division, for now it can be an integer, and again division. Let's check other properties together. For example, we have a one fighter. Image is one of the property we can add later on, because we don't have an image now. And another thing we need to add, we can add these properties on other table. Just we have a nickname, name, and the division he's on. I want to my project be exactly like a UFC website, so you can see how a real project is work. The simple real project, it's not a real project. We can add other thing to that for become professional project, but for example, it's a really simple project. After adding our user, or it have to be a fighter, so instead of that, I don't change that. I keep it user for now. Or let's change it to the fighter, because I want to add another table for that. Fighter.go, we have fighter.go, and inside my table I changed them to the fighter. When we run our project, oh, that's great. Again, we can run that fighter handler.go. We need to paste it in here. again run, and if we back into our SQL or Postgres, I need to refresh my database, and inside my schema we have a maybe tables, and inside that's great, we have a fighters. Even in here I believe that we have a create a script. You can see, no, in a script we have an insert script, and inside the insert script you can insert a new fighters. For example, let's write Ilya as the first fighter. We have a Ilya Tupuria for ID. You can remove the ID from insert because it's, I believe that get a auto increment if we write ID correct. Otherwise we can add a auto increment to that. So let's see it have auto increment or not. Ilya, and it's have a nickname El Matador. Gender, we put a 1 for gender for men, and for women we put a 0. Division, let's just write a 2 for now. We can change it later on. Name, okay, Tupuria's last name. We had a one problem in here. God, El Matador, last name, nickname, gender, and false, true. Okay, it's successfully been added. So if I want to select from our fighters, as you can see we have a Ilya inside in here. I need the order tables also to add them into our fighters. Let's delete for now all the fighters because I don't need them now. And after I delete that, I need other tables like events and the fights they have been on, or the fights table. So what is the event? The event is this page. It's, as you can see, it's have some name, date, and maybe the created, or no, the start time is better. Start time. I already write them the table I need to add. So the fighter 1, fighter 2 start time. Let's add this table also. Inside the entities we add another table, event dot go. I hope that event is not be a keyword, because event is some tricky word and maybe be a keyword. Let's change that to the game event. We need to define our abstract. It have an ID and, as I said, name, a string, dates. We have a date time. It's a time. We need to import a time. For date and the fighter 1 and fighter 2. What's that mean? We have a 2 fighter in each event. The first fighter, for example, if you look at in here, but it's in French, I think. I don't understand. The left one is a fighter 1 and the right one is a second fighter. As you can see in here, it's a first one and it's a second one. So we write fighter 1 is, and for type I have to import or say it's a fighter, and for a fighter 2 it's have to be the, because we are in the same directory we don't need to use a namespace for that. The fighter 2 is a second fighter, but if I run that and say we have a game event and I need a auto migrate, I believe that we get a beautiful error because it don't have a primary key. It don't have foreign key, of course. Yes, we got that in here. Invalid field found for it's don't return any error. Yes, we have an error, and inside here we can say add event error is equal to that, and if it wasn't nil, we can panic or like that fatal error, our error can't add add or upgrade game event table. So I believe that this can show the error. Cannot add or upgrade a game event table. Invalid field found for abstract event field fighter. Define a valid foreign key for relations or implements the value scanner. That's mean it's neither one key for saying this. Let's go inside entities. Saying this game event belong to each fighter, so we need an integer because our fighter is an integer. So say fighter 1 ID, it's an integer, and GORM sorry let's copy that, just I don't know the exact one, and the fighter ID 1, but we have to put that inside the fighter, I believe. So say that's ID is this one, and for second one say let's put a space between them. For second one we can say the fighter ID 2 is our key. So if we run that again, no, you have to be on the main. Okay, we didn't get an error, and we can refresh our tables. Now we have a 2 table. Second, select script. We don't have any public event for now, so we created 2 tables, game event and fighters. We need of course another table. It's let me check. Okay, find this. The third table, it's very important, is athlete weights and athlete division. For example, straw weight, flyweight, and featherweight. Every championship can have be in one of them. I know that they can be in a two of them and change their weight, but for now we just consider everyone on one of them. And this table is athlete division. Let's go struct, of course, import, no, package entities, but we need, the first thing is always ID. The second thing we need that is their weights is integer. Probably it can be a float, but we keep this integer. Let me check. Okay. And the end thing we need, just that we do. Oh, okay. Name a string as always. Say athlete division, and I know that these lines of error seems a little bit boring, but they are very useful on a development, because if you have an error, it can find that your error before your project is run. So always keep them on your project. Can't add or upgrade to athlete division table. And another thing, of course, any fighter can have athlete division, and as I mentioned before, they have a foreign key inside that, and it's let's say division ID instead of division ID, foreign key division ID. Okay, ready to go. Get a nil. So as you can see, after I refresh my project, refresh, I have now 3 table: athlete division, fighter, game event, and inside inserting in table, instead of those table, we have now division ID. Thanks everybody for watching.